it's an amazing experience, like what Murthy shared about what art is, and we have lived with him and seen all the challenges. As Shruti mentioned, he started painting at the age of 52. He sacrificed art for the sake of the country. When he was a teenager, a 19-year-old, he took one of the most difficult decisions in his life to sacrifice his first love and dedicate himself to the freedom struggle. And after India became free, he wanted to return to art, but his leaders told him, you have to build our country. We need to. So he gave about 15 years of his life, in the youth, building the youth movement. He was a legislator, and so he contributed a lot. And at the age of 52, he was captivated by the beauty. He was a lover of Mother Nature, and he found it in Bangalore. The trees, the Ritu Simhara. Bangalore is one of the unique cities in the world, I would say, where every month there is a blossom, and trees from all over the world have been planted there over centuries, like 2-3 centuries, and so that was a perfect setting for him to paint nature, to paint Mother Nature, which he did, and we presented to all of you for you to enjoy, appreciate, understand, and maybe experience his work. So thank you very much, and thank you.
Pleased to be here with all of you on the occasion of the second retrospective of Rumale Chennabasaviah in Mumbai. The first one was in Bangalore. This exhibition has been possible due to so many kind and generous people. I mean it. I would like to thank my dear friends Sanjay and Shapala, who have been taking care of the Rumale collection with total dedication. You will see how well kept the works are. It's not easy, and it's only due to their continuing efforts. The paintings look as if they have been done yesterday. Maintenance is a very hard task. I thank both of them for their trust in my abilities and for giving me this opportunity to engage with the artist's works. I am also grateful to Ms. Shruti Das and her colleagues at NGMA here who are able to put together this exhibition with so much passion and commitment at such short notice. With her own spiritual persuasions, Ms. Das has enriched the retrospective by carving out a theme on Ayagampa, which you see on the second level. My connection to Rumale goes back to 1980s, when I was not really equipped to appreciate his contribution to Karnataka art. The state art scene, the Karnataka state art scene, was in a dramatic transition at that time with a young generation of artists with whom I also identify myself. Still, his paintings fascinated me. They were different from what I was used to seeing in the works of his contemporaries. Now, with this retrospective, 10 years after the first one in 2011, I am once again face to face with his artworks. They inspire me to re-examine my perception of art in general and his point of view in particular. I am also benefited from my training and practice in East Asian calligraphy and ink painting, which are now shaping the way I respond to his paintings. Most of what I am trying to say here is on the walls, in some of the painted texts. Some of my thoughts have found their way in the exhibition text that you may read at your convenience. I will bring up only 2 points here that I think I have not made clear in these exhibition texts. One of these is the relationship between the art and the artist. Rumale has helped me to see that art is about the artist. An artwork is not merely an articulation of the self. It's not just a means to express oneself. It's certainly a way of self-expression, but it is also something more than that. Making art is also a process of self-cultivation. I would like to think like that. This is something that I notice in Rumale as well as in the ancient ink painting masters of the East Asia. The second point I would like to make here is about the relationship between art and nature. What did Rumale ji see when he sat in front of his flowers and trees, and what did he paint? Is one of the questions that always bothers me. Is this a gulmohar or a bougainvillea or a chakaranda? Which flower is it really? Is it an image in his mind? The flowers are standardized. The difference between any two of them, especially in form and structure, are not in focus. Is every work a pretext, every flowering tree a chance, every river a mental image, and an opportunity to cultivate himself? If so, I wonder, why did he not choose to paint in the studio? Why was it important for him to get to the spot every single day and work on these paintings? These questions have emerged from my own practice and are important for my own practice, but I look forward to appreciate these aspects of humanity's art through your perceptive eyes, through the eyes of so many artists, art students and art connoisseurs in Mumbai. This, I believe, is what a good work of art does. Perhaps it ought to do forever lending itself to new readings, throwing new light on the deceptively simple aspects of life and living. Rumale ji has brought back for me the joy of simply painting, in which the mind and body are in total coordination. His work is like a good friend with whom you can meet without notice, enjoy a chat, or just sit and muse over in meaningful quietness beyond words. Thank you. Wishing you all well.
It's to be blessed, present here, and I should say all the art level along with my fellow colleagues. In fact, it's my first function here as director of additional charge with NGMA. It will be immense pleasure to welcome you all to this special exhibition, which is titled as World Mathri, a retrospective of Rumale Chennabasaviah, painter laureate from Rumale. To me, if I'm correct, I think World Mathri means it's the friendship of color. It's one represents color and Mathri translates to. So I think that's what you are going to witness today. I'm happy to welcome you all to witness this artistic genius of Shri Rumale Chennabasaviah, a hidden gem of our country. Rumale was a multifaceted personality. He served our motherland in various ways as a veteran freedom fighter, as a social worker, a legislator, journalist, spiritual seeker, and an artist as well. Started painting in the year 1962 at the age of 52. Nearly 32 years of his initial training in art, he has immortalized for us in his own past impressionist style the floral beauty of the gardens city of Bangalore. He was a master of color, and his works, one sees various colors blend harmoniously to give a beautiful impression and feelings of Mother Nature. Rumale was a very spiritual person, and it's evident in all his paintings. He has also painted a few portraits of his gurus, Shriman Tapashri Maharaj and Shri Shiv Balaji Yogi Maharaj, as well as the Kabe family. The co-curators are especially put a spiritual section for you to highlight this aspect of Rumale's art and life. For discerning art lover of Mumbai, it will be a rare opportunity to witness this natural beauty of Bangalore at NGMA Mumbai. I would like to thank the co-curators, Ms. Shruti Das and Shri Srinivas Murthy for their dedication and excellent work. In fact, it was put up in a very small time. Initially, we were worried whether we should have the first March at the rate, but I think it was a hard work and tireless effort for the entire team to put all these things together. My sincere thanks to the Ministry of Culture for their constant support and patronage. I would like to express gratitude to Shri Sanjay Kabeji, Srimati Shabla Kabeji from Rumale Art House for bringing this exhibition to NGMA Mumbai. thank you for coming to see this exhibition and for this inaugural function. I sincerely hope that you all enjoy this unique exhibition. Just one line I would like to add, because I'm from Science Center. When I was reading about the painting works, the way he has painted, you can see it's a kind of archive. Because when we construct, when dams were constructed, I think he was advised that why don't you paint what you see. That becomes very, very essential. Maybe 10 years, 20 years, 50 years from now, when people of Bangalore, when they will see what was there, and maybe from the archive sometime they will be able to. We are all facing a lot of problems like global warming, devastating floods and storms and all that, and we should also be equally concerned with the people in Mumbai, because we are at the seashore. So all those things, I think it will help later on, maybe 50 years, 100 years from now, they will see when people will compare that these kind of things were there, and when you construct, it may also help sometime to find whether we should go this way of our sustainable development or construction, or we should also go that. So thank you very much for being leaders today on this event. Thank you.
But here we are. I want to begin by congratulating the NGMA, Retrospective and his colleagues and the Madhav Kabe family, because this exhibition really represents, if you will, an epiphanic arrival of this artist into the context of the Bombay art world. I think we have a great deal to learn from that. And I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate Mr. Chennabasaviah and Shruti Das for the energy and the devotion that have gone into curating this exhibition. I've known of Rumale ji by report, so to speak, and through images for many, many years, through Sanjay and Deepa. And it's really, to me personally, quite a marvelous occasion to be able to actually stand in the presence of these works. And as I do that, I'm reminded of something that the American art historian W.J.T. Mitchell wrote in a book that actually has the very evocative title, What Do Pictures Want? So Mitchell's point was that we tend to come to paintings as viewers with our desires, our wishes, our hopes, and our thoughts about the works. But what if we imagine, Mitchell argues, that paintings have desires and appetites and hopes of their own? What if they had feelings? And how do we learn to establish what they really want? And I'll unpack a little why I was struck by this particular insight of all insights in art history. It's because paintings, however exquisite and beautiful and eloquent they may be, paintings are surfaces. Yeah, they are, at the end of the day, two-dimensional surfaces that claim our attention in certain ways. And to know more about the world from which they come, we need to develop certain forms of attention, certain forms of listening. And whilst the previous speakers have spoken eloquently and beautifully about the spiritual aspects of Rumaleji's work, I tend to take a far more modest, artisanal, historically grounded kind of view. So I want to share a few thoughts arising from that perspective. Particularly when I looked at this beautiful enfilade of paintings here, the early work, I was struck strongly by how Rumaleji was actually reclaiming, and if you will, reappropriating forms of attention to buildings, to monuments, to landscapes that primarily come from certain Western traditions. But if you look at the work, it does not partake of the usual colonial gaze of the picturesque or of plein air. There is, for lack of an adequate English description, I was very, very struck by the degree of power that inhabits these works. There is an overflow feeling that somehow surrounds and animates these buildings, whether they're temples or minarets or fortresses, and brings them to life in a way that cannot be reduced to documentation. It's not simply historic documentation, it's something else. It's a reclaiming of an ancestry, of a past. And again, I was struck by how this is an artist who takes over technologies of art making that come from elsewhere in a certain way. Remember that plein air, the practice of artists going out into nature and painting there, becomes possible only with the invention of tube paint. It simply wasn't possible before. Artists simply had to work in their studios. So that's a technology that arrives from a certain moment in Western Europe. It's associated with the Impressionists. It comes here, and artists like Rumale take it over and make it their own through the handling, through the way in which also some of these patterns strongly correspond to the arabesque, if you will. There are architectural patterns, there are forms from the Indian decorative arts that find expression through the medium of landscape. So already we are looking at genres that are not, from the point of view of Western artistry, pure. In fact, they are impure in a marvelously real, visceral, and, if you will, local way. I also want to dwell a little on how we regard our own artists. And as you see, my preoccupation here is also undoing a certain residual colonialism that inhabits how we think. I read somewhere that he was described as the Van Gogh of India. And the first thought that came to me is, why do we need to valorize our own artists in this way? Why does Kalidas have to be the Shakespeare of India? Why does Rumale have to be the Van Gogh of India? That was a completely different historical context. This is completely different. So these remarks that I have to offer in terms of his pictoriality, in some way are an argument to see him in a certain different context and a different history. And to me, that is not so much the region, but a very, very specific history of Mysore. And I want to speak a little about that as I go along. The great scholar, literature, editor, anthologist V.K. Gokak anointed Rumale as the painter laureate of Karnataka. Gokak, as it happens, was my mother's English professor at Karnataka University in Dharwad. And my mother always recited from memory in Gokak's rather Oxonian voice passages from Caesar and other Shakespeare plays that he taught. But Gokak was also at the forefront of what, in my view, was a slightly misguided agitation to establish Karnataka as a linguistic state, which I think actually cut against. Linguistic states in general managed to take away the organic cosmopolitanism of South Asia. By asserting single language dominance in a region, it produced needless forms of antagonism and narrowed human possibility. We in South Asia have for centuries been polyglot, been multilingual. These arguments for single language belonging in linguistic states, I think, cut against that. So in that context, I want to think back to the pre-colonial and the colonial histories of Mysore, which I think forms the deep background, if you will, the archaeology of Rumale's work. And I find myself thinking particularly of how we think about nature in his work. Remember that this nature that we see, his evocation of plants or flowers, of the vegetation of Bangalore where he lived, does not fall from heaven. It doesn't come out of a vacuum. It comes from a history of what I'm going to call horticultural cosmopolitanism. This begins with the beginning of Bangalore. Many of you will know this, so I'm not telling you anything new, but Bangalore's origins lie in the foundational work of a seminal figure called Kempegowda, Nana Prabhu Kempegowda, who was a feudatory of Vijayanagara. He established the early tanks, which are now regarded as lakes, laid the groundwork for the vegetation, and really that's the beginnings of the city. At a later point, we have the horticultural experiments of Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan, who patterned particularly Lal Bagh on the Charbagh design, the paradise garden. And the vegetation that went into that garden came from across South Asia, from as far away as Multan and Lucknow. To me, again, this is an inspiring model. And a lot of this, I have to say, I learned partly absorbing it through family, but also through Suresh Jairam's absolutely brilliant book on Lal Bagh, which I would encourage all of you to read. And towards the end of that book, there is a homage to Rumale ji, to whom Suresh was rather close in the artist's late years. There's also a beautiful passage in that book which reminds us of how much we owe to that misunderstood period of the colonial encounter. How the wadirs, the rulers of Mysore, brought in experts from everywhere. They brought in John Cameron, Gustav Krumbiegel, and then they also trained Jagaraya and Marigada, who were really taking forward a tradition that started in the Kew Palace Gardens, but which became very, very real to this locale. And it's this, you spoke earlier of, all of these flowers that we see in these paintings, they come from all over the place. Some of them come from as far away as Latin America. It's just that they've been so naturalized here that we don't realize how very distant their origins are. So in a way, it's through these plants and flowers that the artist seems to be suggesting to us that we are all kaleidoscopic selves. And this is one of my great takeaways from these beautiful paintings that I've seen. And in the end, we are reminded that so much of this nature that we see is actually set in the heart of a city. To me, the compelling argument of this oeuvre, this body of work, is that we need to recognize nature as not the other, not the counterpoint, but something that is part of us and we are part of. Too often we make the mistake of seeing ourselves as a sovereign species that needs to be served by nature, which is what has brought us to this catastrophic moment of the Anthropocene. What these paintings remind us of is that there can be a different conception of urban life, one in which nature is privileged, one in which nature is at the center, and not where nature is marginalized, destroyed, wished away. And I would, in conclusion, hold on to that as a talismanic thought. In the presence of these paintings, we are reminded of not only who we are as viewers and aesthetes, but also of who we need to be as sensitive and engaged citizens. Thank you for your attention.
Do this. And I frankly knew very little about Rumale ji. And other than that, he was not an activist, but involved in the freedom movement. But I didn't know much about his artwork. And I'm glad that I'm actually delighted that NGMA is having this exhibition in Mumbai. And Mr. Chennabasaviah, the curator, and Shruti, and Sanjay, and your sister, for preserving this treasure house single-handedly and so well for so many years that it's there in its pristine condition, as was mentioned earlier, for us to enjoy and see today. Mr. Mesh Kumar Rastogi, I was really happy when I heard that we finally have a Bombay-based person as the director for the NGMA. Madam Nasreen Banu did a wonderful job, but she was holding a portfolio for 2 NGMAs in 2 different cities. Mr. Rastogi is also holding a double portfolio where he brings his science expertise to the art world, and I hope some of our art world brings our artistic expertise to the Science Museum as well. Thank you very, very much for accepting this position. You're going to enjoy, I promise you, you're going to enjoy your tenure here as director in charge of NGMA. Thank you. This wonderful bust, I've been admiring it from where I was sitting, done by is really quite amazing. The artist was a very striking personality, and from that bust, a lot is conveyed to the viewer. One of strength, one of peace, one of devotion, and complete dedication. I too read Jaira, Ranjit, it was a real eye-opener, and Jairam says that this is a tryst with nature, the artist and the subject. He's really surveyed the landscape, the topography, and if I can indulge a little bit, it takes you back to the early days of the art activity in India, all over India, starting in Bihar, and the company school paintings, and the artists who came here, who observed our type of vegetation, how they interpreted the Indian subcontinent as a picturesque, as against the European word, applicable picturesque to European painting, Romanticism and Impressionism. Bangalore, we've all grown up hearing, is the garden city. What has been reduced to today, I shudder, but I will not comment on that. There are some spectacular gardens still there, with a lot of indigenous and non-indigenous trees, which have become very much a part of our own landscape. And I think Rumale ji has captured this in quite a systematic way. The species we see all around us, the flowers, sometimes the topography of a church tucked into the painting. And it's the way he's captured it, he's captured something that I think we've lost. And since it's with us in the form of a watercolor or a canvas, I think we should appreciate it more. Because the city, which was supposed to be a utopian place for people to retire in with clean air and clean water and lots of flowers and trees, is a struggle for daily people, I believe, in Bangalore to live with. So in the urban context, it's not the city of Devika Rani or Rorik who lived there, made their home there, but it's the city of IT and the future India. But we still have this urge within us to be within nature, and there's a wonderful saying on my right and on your left, in nature nothing is perfect and everything is perfect. I like these little quotations. US curators have tucked around the high walls of this magnificent CJ Hall, NGMA. Ranjit talked about Mysore, yet another city which follows closely on the heels of Bangalore in Karnataka. And we cannot forget the Wadia family and his Divan, who actually played a very instrumental role in encouraging the beautiful gardens in Vrindavan, and Dr. Dole Luba, Surinder Patel and Nalanda, Sir Mirza Ismail. They were both great lovers of nature, and for this we owe it to them that we remember them remember some of them from time to time, and not forget the legacy that they have left behind. And in the early 19th century, people from royal families like the Wadias from Mysore invited what we would call a gardener, but they were far more sophisticated. They were really horticulturists, they were scientists, to come to their estate and make gardens, plant gardens, nurture gardens, and train people over here. And there was a German, in particular German horticulturist in the state of Mysore, princely state of Mysore. His name is Krogwegel. He had an intimate knowledge of tree species and the city plan, and how to plan a city or trees around a city. And he was articulating what we today call landscape design. And it was an occupation, it was a public works occupation, so the state was invested in it as well. And the kingdom of Mysore in those days benefited, and we in Free India definitely immensely benefit from this. I don't know that they were ahead of their time, but we have a lot of learning to do for them if we really want to save our cities as we go forward. Coming back to the paintings, they do remind me of our colonial past and nostalgia and also architecture as we saw it then versus the new glass and chrome that we see today, the new mediums. But building, planting avenues as per the color to show that every season around Bangalore or in that Deccan area would have flowering trees throughout the year. So there was beauty and color and greenery in all 12 months. And nature doesn't happen like that. You have to care for it. And as Ranjit mentioned, we've made ourselves the center and nature on the periphery. But really nature is the center and we're on the periphery. At least that's the way I look at it. So returning back to your gallery, a small gallery in Bangalore with this heritage, with this collection, a private enterprise, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, has made this exhibition possible in Bangalore and now in Mumbai. And for NGMA to invite the curators here, it's really a celebration for NGM. It really is a celebration for this gallery, and I'm looking forward to many more exhibitions. And before I end, I'd like to thank the singers and the performers and the artists for their melodious music. And I must confess, I'm not a student of Indian classical or even Thomri or Ghazal, but I enjoyed your beautiful voice and the enthusiasm of the 6 accompanists who joined you today. So thank you very, very much. It was an excellent combination of music and landscape and painting and beauty. And I'm really quite moved to be here today amongst you. NGMA has been very kind to me. If I may add a few personal lines. It's an amazing building to work in, and I appreciate that. And I used to call it the Guggenheim of Mumbai until I started losing kilos and kilos of weight, going up and down these steps. There are a few technical things we could still change, Mr. Rastogi, but leave it in our able hands. And the lighting is really good, and really the staff of NGMA, the carpenters, the lighting experts, the people who touch up the walls, the people who bring in the paintings, take out the paintings, do all the accessioning, they also need a very, very round warm of applause. Thank you.
pleasure to have you here. It's the first time Rumale ji's work has come to Mumbai. After seeing his work, how was the experience?
I think a lot of people do not know about Rumale's work, and Rumale ji's work is amazing. I myself had no knowledge of how good this show would be. It was a wonderful surprise, and I'm so glad that artists like him are acknowledged through shows like this. Of course, it is he's had a sort of short span of actually being in the prime of his career or work, and I find that this is absolutely a big surprise, because NGMA also must thank them for putting together something like this, and to thank the curatorial team. It requires a lot of effort, and I know that how much of work goes into such shows.
Ma'am, and this has been done just to give him the recognition and awareness that he deserves, and this involves no commercial purpose. So how would you want to appeal to the Mumbaikars to come and join NGMA and have a look at his illustrious lifespan?
पहले तो ऐसे लगता है कि such shows should get more mileage through publicity, through word of mouth, और हम जैसे लोग थोड़ा प्रमोट ज़रूर से करेंगे. एंड अवेयरनेस तो बहुत ही ज़रूरत है, क्योंकि वैसे बहुत लोग उनका काम जानते नहीं हैं, और मैं खुद नहीं, मुझे खुद को वैसे सरप्राइज़ लगा कि ये कौन है ये आर्टिस्ट, इतना टैलेंट है, और अभी तो शायद उनको थोड़ा मिलेगा और पब्लिसिटी मिलेगी ये शो को, तो आई थिंक इट विल बी ग्रेट, वंडरफुल.
सर, रुमली जी का काम पहली बार मुंबई में दिखाया जा रहा है, लोगों को मौका मिल रहा है. इतने बढ़िया आर्टिस्ट हैं जिन्होंने हर तरह की चीज़ की है. आपका अनुभव कैसा रहा पेंटिंग्स को देखने के बाद?
बहुत सही है. रुमाली जी का मैं तो उनके बारे में जानता था, लेकिन उनका काम पहली बार देखने को मिला. और ये खाली ऐसा नहीं कि कैनवास पे उन्होंने नेचर का कोई फूल पौधे वगैरह ऐसे निकाले, लेकिन उसके पीछे उनकी जो भावना है, उनकी जो सोच है, वो सही है. और मुझे लगता है कि जब पूरा आर्ट वर्ल्ड टोटली इन्फ्लुएंस था वेस्टर्न थॉट से, तब उन्होंने अपने अंदर जाके अपना एक स्पिरिचुअल अनुभव को इस प्रकार से अपने कैनवास में उजागर किया. मुझे लगता है इट्स वंडरफुल वर्क, एंड कि मुंबई में जो लोग हैं, जो आर्ट लवर्स है, उनको ये बिल्कुल देखना ही चाहिए. इट्स अमेजिंग वर्क इज डिस्प्लेड हियर इन दिस, एंड जिस प्रकार से वो क्रिएट किया गया शो, वो भी सही है, सो दैट यू कैन नो द आर्टिस्ट, यू कैन नो हिज वर्क एंड थॉट बिहाइंड इट. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा.
और सर, ये एग्जीबिशन भी जो करा गया है श्रद्धा भाव से किया गया है. 15 अप्रैल तक ये एग्जीबिशन है, एंड कमर्शियल पर्पसेस के लिए नहीं है. तो आप मुंबईकर्स को कैसे अपील करना चाहेंगे कि आएँ और इसका लुत्फ उठाएं?
क्योंकि ऐसा है ना कि कला के क्षेत्र में कला ही बहुत अहम रहती है. उसका कमर्शलाइजेशन भी होता है, लेकिन लोग इस प्रकार से भी काम करते हैं जिनको कमर्शियल कोई उसमें रुचि नहीं होती है. वो अपने काम में व्यस्त रहते हैं, मस्त रहते हैं, और सही तरीके से काम करते हैं. तो मुझे लगता है कि मुंबईकर भी इस प्रकार से जो खुद के लिए जिन्होंने काम किया है, पूरी जान उसमें डाली है, और बहुत ही सही काम किया है, वो देखने के लिए ज़रूर आएंगे और उसका लाभ उठाएंगे, और उससे बहुत सारी चीज़ें भी उनके समझ में आएंगी, ऐसा मुझे लगता है.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a pleasure.
I think I consider it an honor. It's a great excitement for me. A Karnataka artist is shown in Mumbai for the first time, and his works are quite unique also. He has got a lot of different things than his own contemporaries. So I'm very happy that it has been brought to the attention of the audience in Mumbai.
And what's beautiful about this initiative is that, sir, it's not for any commercial purpose.
Yes.
The family, the Madhav Kabir family, is actually wanting to pay a tribute to the person.
Yeah.
How would you want to appeal to the Mumbaikars to come and join the movement and have a look at his wonderful paintings?
Sorry.
We just wanted to appeal to the Mumbaikars to please come, because it's happening till the 18th, till the 15th of April. Just join us.
Yeah.
That's about it.
The show is on up to April 15, and there are many special attractions in the exhibition. And Rumale was a freedom fighter. Because of that, he was awarded the Tamrapatra in 1972.
It's one of the highlights of the exhibition. There are also a unique sculpture that was made by a very well-known sculptor in Karnataka, Venkatachalapati. It is a bust of Rumale ji, so you get to see that. And then his chronology has been shown with the infographics, which should be of great interest. So apart from that, his paintings, they are like what we call as easel paintings, and this has been indicated through a frame that we have got in front of the design has been done with a lot of subtlety, and also inside there's a frame as soon as you enter the gallery there is a frame which suggests what you call as an easel painting. It's a frame to a wall. That's a definition of an easel painting, which is a creation of an illusion of the reality. But Rumale's paintings are easel paintings in that sense, but they are not creating illusions. That's a different kind of approach he has taken. So these things are also narrated through the chronological aspect.
Thank you for putting together such a beautiful design. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, it was absolutely breathtaking, and a feeling of complete peace and warmth when you see his works. And I think we are really lucky that the family was able to curate the show and bring such beautiful art to India and to Bombay. And I would really urge everyone to come and have a look at the show, which continues till the 15th of April. And I think it's beautiful. I mean, it's an absolutely like a tribute to a master. And I'm so glad that I was able to come and witness even the speeches by Mr. Ranjit and even Dr. Firoza Godrej. So it was an amazing experience. I would really wish that you'll all come and have a look at the works, which are absolutely inspirational and extremely spiritual as well. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank
it's a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
I'm Sanjay Kabe.
I'm Shabla, his sister Shabla, younger by a year.
Okay, that is nice. So, could you tell us the reason why this retrospective is organized here in Mumbai?
See, we had the NGMA actually had organized a retrospective in Bangalore, and at that time the scope of the exhibition was also Mumbai and Delhi. So now it's happening in Mumbai, and hopefully it will happen in Delhi.
So Nazneen Banu who was the ex-director of NGMA Mumbai, Bangalore and Mumbai. So she was the one who initiated, and she said, no, people from Bombay have to see this artist, and that's the reason why it has come to Mumbai. And of course the NGMA team in the Mumbai team has been absolutely, they've given their heart and soul towards this exhibition, and they've worked to make it, I think, a good success, hopefully. And we want to see a lot of people come here.
This is the first time that Rumale ji's works have come out of Karnataka and to Mumbai.
She's the best person to answer. At this scale, yes, but she had done an exhibition, an art camp in New Delhi in 1988.
Yeah, so we had organized an artist camp, HUDCO, that's the Housing and Urban Development Corporation. They had organized an artist camp in Delhi, and that's when the then CMD of HUDCO, Mr. Sharma, SK Sharma, he had come to Bangalore and visited the gallery, and he says, oh my God, these are treasures that everybody should see. So we had organized, along with the artist camp, an exhibition was organized in Delhi.
But I think about 10-15 works?
No, more than that, 25, 30 works.
But ideally, this is the first time you all are organizing this show in Mumbai, and you would want to urge the public and the younger generation to come forward and view the show, because...
Yes, very much, because both his work of art, the process of how we created works of art, and the art itself has a lot of messages for the young people, and in fact for people of all ages, and as speakers mentioned, his art is universal, a lot to learn from his art from a technical perspective and also from a from a perspective of life. The importance of dedication, sincerity in whatever you do, and and that is evident in his art and the process by which he created works of art.
And to add on to this, for us, because we have seen each of these paintings being done in front of us, it resonates with us differently because we relate to each of the painting, and we would like the same resonance. We hope to see the same resonance with a lot of people in Mumbai, and from the inauguration, I mean, we got a sample of it and people were like, oh my God, I have never heard about this artist, and I'm a landscape artist myself and I can see each stroke and I can, learn so much from these. I'm going to come back and I'm going to, want a talk, and I want to see more of this and spread the word as well. So I'm so happy that it's resonating the way, resonating with lots of people, the way it resonates with us as well.
On a parting note, you want to tell us the dates?
The exhibition is on from the 2nd of March till the 15th of April, and we will be here most of the days, hopefully, to do a docent walk with all of you. And the docent walk will be because, like I said, we've seen this evolve, so we have small insights about the artist talking to us while the painting was being done. So we hope to share all these little tidbits with you guys. So we'll be happy to see you from the 2nd of March to the 15th of April.
Anything else you all would like to add?
Welcome. We really look forward to welcome you and share our stories and
the
learnings about the art and the artist, which may be of of interest, of use to you, to the Mumbaikars. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.